Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories for you. First one is about the split in Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Holy Synod Patriarch today expelled 28 bishops, and the archbishops are now responding. They have issued a statement with 10 main points. We are seeing a serious split. It seems that Oromia regions, Orthodox churches are splitting with the main Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Details for you. Secondly, on Sunday, Oromo fighters attacked a camp of Amhara Special Force where there was presence of Ethiopian Federal Police too. For almost 4 days there was fighting in North Shore zone of the Amhara region. Now numbers are being shared. How many Amhara Special Force soldiers have been killed in the past 4 days? Numbers are staggering. I have not seen such a large number of Amhara Special Force members killed in the past few months, apart from the war in Tigray. Thirdly, viewers, Russian foreign minister arrived in Eritrea today, Sergei Lavrov. Interestingly, he arrived in Massawa. He was welcomed at Massawa airport by Usman Saleh, Eritrean foreign minister. Details for you. Firstly, viewers, Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Holy Synod, today after extensive discussions, expelled 28 bishops, including 3 main bishops, archbishops, Saviros, Zina Marcos, and the third one too, and 25 others who were appointed as bishops by the 3. Orthodox Church stripped all their titles and announcing that they would not be given any access to churches. And new appointments are being made by the Holy Synod. Now, we are seeing a counter statement from these bishops who are mostly Oromos. Not all of them, but most of them are Oromos. I think a few 2 to 3 hours ago, they held a press briefing. They have issued a statement with 10 points. They are rebelling. It's clear. The church, the Holy Synod had said that if the dissidents apologized, the Holy Synod would consider the apology. But the dissidents are not apologizing. Rather, they say that they would elect a new patriarch. First point. Secondly, they say that they will make more appointments of bishops, archbishops in the Oromia region especially. Thirdly, they say they'll build more structures. Fourthly, they will form a body, synod obviously, and they want to be a member of Oromia Religious Council. And fifthly, they want to bring back those Orthodox followers who left the church, because church was allegedly dominated by one ethnic group, Holy Synod, and that is Amhara ethnic group. And then they are announcing that they will not let the church be dominated by one group. That is obviously, they are referring to ethnic Amharas. They claim that Holy Synod is mainly composed of ethnic Amhara. So now A split is being seen, very visible, no question about that. That archbishops from the Oromia region who have been expelled by the Holy Synod, they're announcing a split. They're going to form a separate Holy Synod. They could elect a new patriarch as well. How will this announcement by these mostly Oromo archbishops be received in Oromia? Will the people of Oromia region accept these new bishops? Will they still consider them as bishops and archbishops? Because Holy Synod has revoked their titles. But will they keep on using these titles? And what will be its reaction in the Oromo region of Ethiopia? The Orthodox Church has split. It's very clear, especially if these dissident bishops, if they manage to get following in the Oromia region, following Orthodox believers, it would be start of splitting of the church. Secondly, we're going to see confrontation now between appointees by the Holy Synod based in Addis Ababa and the Holy Synod which will be formed by the dissidents. Both appointees will try to assume charge at churches, especially in Oromia. So we could see conflict at churches, confrontation, clashes at churches in Oromia. What will Oromia regional government do? What will Oromia forces do? Will they support splinter faction? Or will they support Addis Ababa-based Orthodox Church faction? That remains to be seen. But it's an unprecedented development in the history of Orthodox Church. Though the Church has suffered some setbacks in the past, but it managed to remain united. We know that there have been disputes over the appointment of patriarch, election of patriarch in the past too. But this time we are seeing a serious split because government's role is suspicious. If Oromia regional government, Oromia forces start supporting splinter group, it would be perhaps start of disintegration of Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Secondly, viewers, more than 100 Amhara Special Force soldiers have been killed since Sunday in a North Shiva zone of the Amhara region, where we know that Oromo fighters attacked a camp of Amhara Special Force members near Jivaha. Ethiopian Federal Police was deployed there too in 4-day-long clashes in different parts of Oromia, not Oromia Special Zone, mainly North Shiva zone of the Amhara region. Around 150 members of Amhara Special Force were killed. It is being reported by some sources. 67 dead bodies have been found so far. 64 are still missing, and it is being said that 64 missing are dead, whose dead bodies are being searched. This is the biggest loss suffered by Amhara Special Force in a fight against Oromo fighters, OLA fighters in recent months. I have not seen such a large number of Amhara Special Force members killed in confrontation with other armed factions or other forces. Yes, in Tigray war, large number of fighters, soldiers killed on both sides. But we have not seen such a large number of casualties in fighting between Amhara Special Force members and Oromo fighters. Relative calm in Shivarobit, in Atay, in Sanbate, in Jivaha, though properties have been damaged and destroyed. Ethiopian National Defense Force arrived in the area. It tried to control the situation, but still you see that dozens have been killed on the side of Amhara Special Force. Lastly, viewers, Russian foreign minister arrived in Eritrea today. Sergei Lavrov was on his visit of Africa. Before visiting Eritrea, he visited Angola, Eswatini, South Africa, and on the last leg of his tour, he arrived in Eritrea. Interestingly, Sergei Lavrov arrived in Massawa, not in Eritrea, not in Asmara. And we know that Russia has been interested in building a naval base in Eritrea, though we have been hearing about that for the past 3 to 4 years, but no on-the-ground development was seen reportedly. And around 4 years ago, Russia showed interest in building a logistics center in Eritrea, in one Eritrean port. That could be Massawa, perhaps. That is why Sergei Lavrov arrived in Massawa today. Later, he flew to Asmara. And in Massawa, he was welcomed by Foreign Minister of Eritrea, Osman Saleh. In Asmara, he held a meeting with Isaias Afwerki. Eritrea is part of Russian camp. Everyone knows because US, EU imposed sanctions on Eritrea years ago, and we have seen that in the last few months that at UN General Assembly sessions, UN Human Rights Council sessions, Eritrea was one of 4 or 5 countries which openly stood with Russia against Ukraine. North Korea, Eritrea, Belarus, these countries voted in support of Russia at UN meetings. And Eritrea is hoping that its alliance with China and Russia would help Eritrea in countering EU and US pressure. And Chinese are increasing their investments in Eritrea too. And this year, so we know that Russia is hosting African leaders. Russia-Africa Summit is going to be held this year in Kremlin. And Sergei Lavrov is inviting African leadership for the upcoming Russia-Africa Summit. So Isaias Afwerki could be in Kremlin to attend the Africa-Russia Summit reportedly. One of the closest allies of Russia in the Horn of Africa, in East Africa, is definitely Eritrea.